I cheated and husband now wants an open marriage. I am a 23-year-old woman and I have been married to my husband for 3 years. I have cheated on him for the last 2 years. He caught me in my lies and so I had to tell him everything. I feel ashamed for it, but he's being understanding and now wants to open our marriage, but I don't feel comfortable with it. I know it sounds hypocritical of me and even selfish, but for some reason I can't just bear to see him with someone else. And when I say he wants an open relationship, he wants to include me in everything. He says it'll make us closer. But for some reason it's just not okay in my mind, and I guess it's because I'm a jealous person. I fear if we open our marriage he might like time better with that other person. When I was cheating, and the way I think about it is that it's not something personal, it's just time, and it's not always time, it's flirting or timiding. Because I'm not falling in love with that other person, I just like the whole teasing game, which the majority of the time for me it doesn't have to lead to time as mentioned before. I just like to be noticed and feel hot and timey and making other men hot for me. And my husband thinks that I cannot live without being this way, which is untrue, because our first year of marriage I was completely devoted to him and only him. Then we got into arguments and have said and done things that made me resent him and question his love for me, which I believe is why it led me to cheating and flirting, which I know it doesn't justify my actions. Despite the things he has said to me and the things he has done to make me resent him, and it doesn't compare to what I did after he found out I had cheated, I have come to realize what an amazing husband I have and who I don't want to lose. He's done countless things for me and has always put me first for everything, which is why I feel completely ashamed for cheating on him, but most of all for lying to him. And we have great time, and I honestly don't care, nor am I really looking to have time with anybody else. Like I said before, I just like the game and feeling hot and timey and making men want me. Which is what I'm trying to explain to him, but it is hard for him to believe me. I just don't know if I want to open the marriage. I just want the things to go back to the way they used to be, but I don't think they are. And we don't want to divorce because we have done a lot to get to where we are, and we both agreed that we didn't want to throw it away. I just wish I wasn't this jealous/possessive wife. Someone please give me some advice. I'm hearing someone who lies to herself and to others try to rationalize that it's okay for her to do things and not for others to do the same. Acting monogamous for 1 year of a 3-year marriage is not devotion. I was 14 years with my wife and turned down numerous women, told her about my desires before even considering acting on them, and allowed her to go first, and still after that gave her a chance to opt out and have me stay monogamous. You ducked up big time here and you breached his trust. Of course he thinks you can't live without it. Comment 1. I am in a very similar position but on the husband's side. One difference is that we did some swinging before she cheated. Each time we did it, it was her idea. But if I brought it up, she got jealous and angry. She couldn't stand the thought of me being with another woman, but she still wanted to get to play. Then she cheated. When I caught her, she begged forgiveness, blamed it on the swinging, and said she never wanted to do it again. I went along with this, and it was not mentioned again until 1.5 years later when I caught her cheating again. Her excuse is the same as yours. That it's exciting and adventurous, but she can't stand the thought of me doing the same thing. It's hypocrisy in the highest form. If it's about the excitement, why do it behind his back? Why not share the experience? Why cheat if you don't have to? The only answer to these questions are that you are selfish and greedy. You treat people who love you as possessions, and care more about your wants and desires than you do about your partner and relationship. Comment 2. Jealousy is not as bad as culture makes it out to be. It's a feeling that many people can learn to power through or even sublimate entirely. It's possible you could choose to go down this path with him and find that the idea of his dating other people was infinitely worse than the reality of it, that he still loves you most of all, and the communication necessary to make non-monogamy work really does bring you closer together. I'm not going to tell you you absolutely should do that thing. I do believe that some people are just monogamous by nature and there's nothing to be done for it, but I would encourage you to consider your reaction to be a bit of a knee-jerk and be open to the possibility that your feelings could change over time. Comment 3. You have some problems inside yourself that you need to address wholeheartedly, immediately, and probably for a lengthy period of time. Here are a few. Stop making excuses. You say you know what you did was wrong, and then come up with numerous reasons you did it. Those aren't reasons you did it. Those are reasons you wanted to. But the reason you acted on that desire is because you made the active decision to be a liar who takes the cowardly and selfish route. Learn how to have hard conversations that you start, even when it's scary. You get no credit whatsoever for discussing all this with your husband now. You simply got caught. If you crave attention as intensely as you describe, and are willing to behave so terribly to get it, that is a pathological level of need. Sort that out in therapy. Truly internalize that feelings don't cause actions. Your actions are always your choice. Someone with more courage and honesty than you would have made very different decisions, even with the same feelings. No more acting like a victim of your feelings. I'm just a jealous person. Well, too bad. That's up to you to work on. Maybe you could never be happy with polyamory. Fine. But I'm just a jealous person is a cop-out. What you actually mean is, I don't want to have to manage my feelings. If I have hard feelings, there's nothing I can do to change them, and so instead other people need to accommodate them. That would never be an acceptable excuse from somebody who tries to limit others because they're just an angry person. We'd say, that's your issue, and you have no right to tell anyone else to coddle you just so you don't have to deal with your own emotions. I don't know what you guys should do. But I do know that you in particular need to take a long, hard look at yourself. You need to be significantly harsher towards yourself. You need to view your own self as a grown-up child in need of a Jupiter-sized wake-up call, and change accordingly. It's really hard to do that. It's hard to look yourself in the mirror and say sincerely, I haven't even tried to be a good person, and there's something really wrong with me. Shame usually isn't very useful, but sometimes we do deserve to be ashamed of ourselves. And then we should use that to become the decent people we can choose to become. Comment 4. It's pretty clear that what you describe as liking feeling hot and timey and making men want you is just your way of feeling worthy. Your self-esteem or what passes for you as your self-esteem comes from feeling wanted by men. An open marriage will never work. I don't know about your husband, but you need therapy, lots of it. You're damaged and don't feel bad. Lots of people are, and it can be fixed. There is no shame in it. Open your mind and soul, get help, get better and be happy from then on. It may not be with your hubby, but what's important is to be honest and true for your own well-being and your husband too. Good luck. Comment 5. Speaking from the point of view who dated someone in your husband's situation, I would say it's not the solution, especially if you don't want it to happen and are basically being forced into it in a tit-for-tat. This is going to sound a bit harsh, but in today's day and age when open relationships are a viable option, I think one of the reasons that people cheat is that they couldn't handle their wife or husband doing the same thing. I think you've got a classic case of this here. Relationship broken, add more people is never really the solution. It sounds like you need some couples counseling before you make any decisions about what to do with your relationship, and just giving him carte blanche to do the same thing you did isn't going to heal anything right now. If the two of you can agree on a course to non-monogamy in counseling, and it ends up being what both of you want without being forced, I would say that's a healthier way to arrive at it. But just jumping in without any therapy or counseling beforehand won't be doing either of you any favors. Comment 6. So from your post I hear. You married extremely young. You have only been married a short time. You cheated for 2/3 of your marriage. You and your husband want very different things. My first though is, why are you married? You're still very young. You could divorce, take a few years to figure yourself out, meet someone new, get married again and still be young. Or, you could stretch this relationship out another 5, 10, or more years of unhappiness, perhaps have a kid or two to save the marriage, then still be unhappy, one or both of you cheating and wanting different things. Both of you deserve to be happy, and need to figure out what you want, what you will forgive, and what you will accept. Comment 7. Your relationship was like a ceramic vase. Complete. Whole. When you cheated, you shattered that vase against the wall and sent hundreds of tiny pieces into the floor. Even with glue and patience, that vase will never be exactly that same as it was. Your husband knows this. What your husband is willing to do, he is willing to give you the second bottle of glue and offer to let you help him build a beautiful mosaic out of the pieces, to make something new instead of throwing all those hundreds of pieces into the trash. Because if you don't help him make the mosaic, he will throw those pieces into the trash. A person who cheats is not worth checking in on every day and cross-referencing their stories to see if they are true. If your relationship is open, you will still be each other's main squeeze and he won't need to check in on you. Just be sure you cut off all contact with people you cheated on your husband with. Comment 8. Okay, so there's a lot to digest here. First off, swinging shouldn't be a fix to a problem. It's a team sport for a loving, trusting relationship. You already both have distrust for one another, and on your side you've already admitted to jealousy. That would be a massive red flag for me. A friend of mine said something that really resonated with me. Swinging is kind of like doing shrooms. If you go into it with negative emotions, it's only going to make them worse. You need to do your best to have nothing but good vibes before you start. So first, I would insist on fixing y'all. Get together and really devote quality time to one another. Then after a good while, if you still feel those kinds of urges, I would talk to a therapist and or your husband about them. Swinging, you might find, is a good outlet for them, as there tends to be a good amount of flirting and such. In many cases, swinging is much more about the time and less about the relationships with others. I think eventually realizing this will help you filter out the jealousy. But you both need to take it extremely slow, and repair the damage first before dragging others into a potential drama storm.
Thanks you for watching Everyday New Movies. See you soon.